from London North Centre.
Thank you, Speaker. And my question is for the Minister of Community and Social Services. Speaker, today is International Women's Day, a day when we celebrate women's achievements throughout history and across nations and continue the work for a more equitable society. Appropriately, Speaker, last week we announced the unprecedented investment of $242 million in Ontario's new gender-based violence strategy. This is tremendously exciting. It shows our government's continued commitment to ending gender-based violence in Ontario. Speaker, I've seen firsthand the extraordinary work that violence against women agencies like ANOVA in my community of London do every day. We know that violence against women agencies provide crucial services like emergency shelter, counselling and transition and housing supports to help women and their children rebuild their lives.
Question.
Speaker, can the minister tell the House what this new gender-based violence strategy will mean for violence against women's shelters and services across Ontario?
Minister of Community and Social Services.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I want to thank the member for her tireless advocacy on this issue. She's been really important in moving this file forward. Thank you so much. I want to thank all of the VAW agencies across the province and their staff who worked so much to support this initiative. I'm thrilled to share an announcement that we made last week, including $150 million over 3 years towards increased services and support for women and their children who have experienced domestic violence. Mr. Speaker, that means 1,000 more women and children will have a safe bed when they're escaping domestic violence. It means 2,000 more women and their children will receive critical counselling services when needed. And this means more inclusive services to better respond to the needs of the LGBTQ plus Indigenous, Francophone, newcomer, and racialized communities. I'm so proud to be part of a government that takes. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you. Supplementary.
Thank you, Speaker, and thank you to the Minister for that answer. I have to tell you, I'm very proud to be part of a government that recognizes the need for strong services for women and survivors. So whether it's women in the workplace or women facing sexual assault or domestic violence, our government has worked hard to make sure that women feel safe. The investment that the Minister of Community and Social Services outlined will most definitely be a positive step to ensure all women feel protected. However, Speaker, we recognize that victim supports is only one part of the solution. We know that another part is ensuring the justice system is more responsive to the needs of survivors. We know that the justice system can be hard, if not truly intimidating. I know that I have heard clearly that the current process needs to be more survivor-centric and trauma-informed. Can the minister please tell us about the investments we've made to help those survivors in the justice system?
Thank you. Minister.
Attorney General.
Attorney General.
Speaker, it's a great honor to get a question from the great Dab Matthews. Speaker, as my colleague has mentioned, it's never okay. And Me Too seized on a conversation, and this conversation has grown. Survivors are coming forward. They are demanding change and support. And Speaker, we need to answer. Within the justice system, we are doing this in two ways: by strengthening our support for survivors and those at risk, and by working to ensure that our justice system is responsive to the needs of survivors and their families. Speaker, this includes a 35% increase to the overall budget for sexual assault centres and providing free legal advice to survivors province-wide. Speaker, these investments will have a massive impact for survivors all across Ontario. But Speaker, as I look across the floor to the official opposition, I see an opposition that has a plan that includes billions of dollars in cuts. I would like to tell this House that even $1 billion in cuts, Speaker, at my ministry would completely scrap this new investment, which will not be acceptable.